Hey guys, what is up? Today I come to you with a weekly review of Gintama. This week's chapter is 617. And before I get into the review, just to clarify, the newest season, the fourth season of Gintama, starts on January the 8th at 1:35 Japan time. Some places may get it on January 9th. Um, this is possibly the second to last, I believe, the second to last chapter of 2016. Of course, the manga has not ended yet. More than likely, it's going to end in 2017. But a new chapter should be coming out later this week. So that will be my final review of Gintama for 2016. And it's going to continue on to 2017 till we get that last chapter. And of course, stay tuned for me reviewing Gintama, the anime. Of course, I will be doing live reactions when it gets to that particular episode that's worth doing that. So, to start off with this chapter, we remember where we nearly thought Ote was going to die, but of course she was saved by Kyubey, and we saw some familiar faces that we have not seen for a long time, and that would be the Yagu clan. The last time we saw them was back in, going by the episodes, was around the 70s, and that was the introduction of Kyubey and the family, and how they're related to Ote and Shinpachi, and then everything, the whole Finasca and everything follows up after that. So Kyubey saves Ote, and they're fighting the Manto and the Dakini that have infiltrated into Kabukicho. Now, at one point it seems like the humans were really going to be put on the wall, because their numbers compared to the enemy forces is much more smaller. So before they know it, their numbers would have dwindled. But of course, the Yagu clan and some reinforcements that they brought in with them managed to kind of even the sides. So it looks like they're doing okay for the time being. And like I said, we haven't seen some faces. So we saw Kyubey's father, and then we also saw the the Yagu four heavenly kings, who we have not seen since the Yagu arc back in during the 70s, early parts of Gintama. So it was really nice to see some of them, and we haven't seen them fight for such a long time, so it was very refreshing to see them going all out. So there was also a part where Bimbo, I'm calling him that because his name is pretty long to say, Kyubey's father, he did say something that was particularly interesting. Gintama always has something interesting to say. And he said, I'm reading off my phone. He says something along the lines of, but before the end, the heavens shone a light down on us. We of the sword were given a place to fight. Whether we win or lose, this is the last battle of the sword, but now, at this moment, only the sword can save this planet. Rejoice, those that stake their lives on the sword. The swords we honed for so long were all for this moment. And I thought that was pretty sentimental and pretty badass on what he's saying, because they were living in a time where swords were banned and they're no longer able to use those. So now that they're able to pick up their swords for the sake of protecting this planet and protecting their loved ones, for them this is possibly the greatest honor. Remember, samurai are all about honor. So if it means dying on the battlefield for their masters, for their family, that is something that they hold to the highest degree. Now, what really caught me off guard was where we have one of the Yagu four heavenly kings, Nishino. I mean, not a lot of people are going to care about him because we haven't seen him for a long time, and he was probably never of great importance. But the way he went out in this chapter was just plain cruel. Now, he was charging, and you can just imagine watching this if this was animated, which more than likely it will be, this particular scene, and then you're hearing the roaring of men falling behind him, and he's taking charge, and before he can even finish his sentence, the panel that comes after is his silhouette is not there, his body is not there anymore, and all you see is like a spurt of blood. And then when you look into the next panel, we see where the Dakini's leader, I don't think we ever got his name or anything, but he's like, that wasn't much of a sound. It sounded more like crushing a frog. And when you look into the panel that had the place where Nishino crashed into, the wall that he crashed into, you don't see his body anymore. All you see is possibly like one leg, and then you see a torn off arm with the sword that he was holding on the ground. And you can imagine, with the excruciating force that the Dakini leader did to him, you can imagine that possibly part of his body has been torn off and is flown somewhere else. And everybody is silent. Like, they could not believe, like, 1 second we're charging in, and this huge, humongous monster just pops up, slams the person leading them, and it's like, what the hell just happened? Now we have where all the troops are rushing in to try to fight him and kill him, and then with that huge hammer he has, all he does is he just has to swing it, and everybody is dying left and right. Like, you see limbs being torn apart, body parts are flying everywhere, people are dying left and right, and you're like, how the hell are they going to defeat this guy? Like, the other troops were hard enough to fight, but they were taking them out. Now imagine if the boss is the hardest to fight. Now we have the Yato, who is also the strongest race within the universe, and then we have the Shinra, who resembles that of a shinobi, but they are an alien race, so you can expect their abilities to be that much more higher than the ones on Earth. They have to face these other two tribes now after they deal with this guy, which will make them very exhausted if they weren't already. So how the hell are they gonna beat this guy? And then they have to face the Yato, and then they have to face the Shinra, and it's like they can get all the recruits that they want, but it's like, my god, how are they gonna pull this off? And by the end of the chapter, we see Ote leaving. She's going to evacuate and run to safety, and the people that's going to be facing off against the Daikini's leader is going to be Shinpachi, Kagura, Gintoki, and Kyubei. So we're going to see in the next chapter on how they're going to deal with this guy and how they're going to defeat him, because this guy is too much of a monster. He has the crushing abilities and the strength like that of a Yato, possibly even worse than that of a Yato. Who knows? But we'll see how they deal with him with the next chapter, and from then on, you know, going into 2017, the story continues as well as the anime picks back up. So if you guys saw this week's chapter of Gintama chapter 617, do drop a comment down below. Tell me how you felt about this week's chapter, and how do you feel about Gintama overall during this year? What was some things that left you shocked? What are you hoping that the anime will do? And, like, do you trust the adaptation of the Gintama anime for them to cover everything that's going to need to be covered for the final arc of the series? The links are in the description box as always, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!